Morning, people. I want to have a little chat with you about the financial markets and the world's banking systems, right? And today, I'm starting the day with a bottle of Bud, a cigar, which I don't normally smoke, or I don't normally drink. Certainly not first thing in the morning before my breakfast. But today is a bit of a special one. Today's a bit of a special one. Now, I'm going to start up a year ago. The big V started. My work said to me, I was down in London scaffolding. Nice little job. Now, they said to me, the site's closing for 3 months. So I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Right. So I was panicking, thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? Money, I want to pay my bills. How am I going to do this? Scared a little bit. I'd already been dabbling in the stock market for about 2.5 years before this. Probably since I went to Egypt, I was doing it heavily. I was putting scaffolding up on a job when I went to Egypt, and on the dinner times, I took my laptop into my office at work. From home, I took my laptop into my office at work. And not every scaffolder has an office at work. And I know that, which is strange. You think, well, I never got an office. But I was running a little job for a while up at the back of Victoria. It was near the Ollie. They're all in big building. I forget what they call the place. Hyde Park Corner. That's where it was. Hyde Park Corner. Near all the foreign embassies. I took took my laptop in, set my laptop up, went and done all my jobs. So when my jobs were finished, I had some spare time. I'd go into my office, onto the laptop. Started trading really with oil mainly. Did all right. Anyway, so after work stopped, I thought to myself, well, let me just have a look, because I didn't really catch the virus thing. Something didn't resonate right with me when I heard it and listened to the news, and so I just ignored all the news, didn't listen to it, and I started tinkering in the stock market, and I started reading, exchanging data with people from all around the world on YouTube and other platforms. One love YouTube. So then I get to the figure, got to the point, the realisation is, well, we're a bit knackered financially. In September, let me think, not last year, but the year before coronavirus, before any news of this in modern day media, right? The central banks around the world went bust. Now that means the Bank of England, the IMF, all the banks around, a majority of the big banks around the world, central banks, the ones who give the high street banks their money. So they went bust. Now, I was at a bit of a loss then, thinking, what's going on here? Come on, there's got to be more to this than reads the eye. There always is. In every story here, there's always more to it than meets the eye. So I started digging, really, find out information, getting the same information from four different sources. So I put a little map together of what was happening, what was likely to happen, how I can profit. Right, now, at this stage, I just started buying the odd crypto, bits of gold on the stock market, not actual gold bullion, just bits of gold on the stock market. Then you see the price of gold rocket. I'm quids in then. Quids in. Now, I made a mistake, really, financial mistake. I should have tilled in, I should have cashed it in and took my money and put it into something else. But I just let gold run a little bit because I felt it was going to go a lot higher. Then I noticed, obviously, lockdown. No, the stock markets, all these shops are closed and all these things are closed. Then I noticed the a peak in companies that have been shut. The money. Then I noticed, well, how was that happening? So I realised that they were printing dollars, pounds, buying all the stocks that they want, buying the companies that they want, getting a big sharehold. You only need 51% of it and you can take the company over. Now, there's only a couple of people who can do this, There's only a couple of people who can do this. The billionaires of the world, you understand? And the governments. The governments can do this. So if you look at the stock market, the companies that want to be saved, or the big companies, the ones with trillions and trillions of pounds, the ones with trillions and trillions of pounds, them companies were not doing any business, but the stock price was flying. Tesla, one of them, jumped on it, boom, get on it. Did really well on Tesla. Visa, would you believe? One of the early investors of Visa. When I seen this coronavirus, I thought medical. Boom, I'm getting these. Visa, I bought about 5 or 6 different medical ones. Did all right on them. Now, all the time I'm switching making a little bit, switching a little bit. So then I thought to myself, how long can they keep printing the dollar for? How long can they keep printing the dollar before we get hyperinflation? Anyone who doesn't know what hyperinflation is just high inflation, basically. Now, obviously, I've mentioned it before. In Britain, since the Second World War, the UK has had a liquidity line from the US dollar. So what happens in the Bank of England? Go on the Bank of England website. I'll tell you all this. It's all there in black and white. This is not my words. This is facts, people. Facts. When the Bank of England needs money, it goes to the US draws it in, puts it in its vault, US dollars, right? It takes it, it transfers it into pounds. It divides the pounds. It gives the pounds to the banks. The banks then have, like, say a bank's got 100k in its vault. Or, for instance, I'm going to say on its computer screen, because that's where most of it is. Remember, people, only 3% of money is in the physical form. The rest's digital. You understand? Even the physical form's actually digital. You know, you put it into the bank, it comes on your screen, it's digital. Forget the paper bit. The paper's not worth anything. Anyway, so the digital form of pounds is really dollars. Look it up, people. It's true. Right, so how long? So when the US printing all this money, 27 trillion, 28 trillion, they're saying they're in debt. Now, I've got a feeling that's actually a lot more, but that's what they're saying today. The UK is in about 7 trillion in the hole. They're in 27 trillion. But what we've got to remember is the US don't just feed Britain. They feed the euro, they feed everywhere with money. And it's a bit of a con, really, and I don't think countries are going to put up with it for much longer, because they're printing more money, making the money that we've got off them worth less, dramatically less. So they're laughing their heads off. The US are laughing their heads off at everyone else, that they've got away with this for 50, 60 years. And they've got away with this hyperinflation. It doesn't matter how much they print, they can just keep printing. It doesn't matter. As long as other countries are taking it still, or using this dollar to buy oil. Remember, the stock market, 3/4 of the world's produce, guess what it's sold in? US dollars. So every time these countries purchase US dollars to buy oil off the stock market, they're buying the hyperinflation. They're taking their hyperinflation. So the US are loving it. And I've done for a long, long time. Now, I want to go back to before, let me think. I think it was 2016, Donald Trump came into office. One of the first things he done was actually the second thing. He flew to Saudi Arabia, shook the hand of the Saudi royal family. And I don't blame him for doing that. That's a key move. Control the oil. Control the people. Control the money, control the people. It's simple economics. Simple Simon said. Now, so he goes to Saudi. Shakes with him. They're like that. Brothers. Still to this day. He gets in his Air Force One, he flies to the Vatican. Now, I didn't know this till quite recently. The Vatican Bank was responsible for the Federal Reserve and the dollar. It was theirs. Now, he did a deal with some kind of deal or some kind of threaten, some kind of tomfoolery. I don't know how he quite pulled it off, but the Pope signed over the Federal Reserve back to Donald Trump, giving Donald Trump the power of the dollar. So then Donald printed loads of it, and I don't blame him for printing loads of it. And he bought the things he wanted to buy, the stocks, the banks. He let half the banks go bust because there's no need for these banks with a new financial system. There's no need for them because we become our own banks. Now, there will be the main central banks, of course, but they've started. I mean, this plan's been going for years and years. But they've started implicating. They're going to crash the dollar. They're going to crash the stock market, right? They're going to crash the pound. They're crashing the euro. Negative interest rates in Europe already, right? And if anyone doesn't know what negative interest rates are, I'll explain quickly. If you've got 100,000 in the bank, well, the next day you haven't. You've got less because it's you have to pay them to hold on to your money. It's not an asset money anymore. It's not an asset because it depreciates in Europe. It hasn't hit here yet, but it's coming. It hasn't hit yet the US negative interest rates either, because it doesn't matter. They just keep printing. It doesn't matter. They'll be all right. So the US dominance of the world. We've got this dominance, the US dominance. They ain't going to give that up. They're not going to give it up to China. They ain't going to give it up to Russia. They're not going to give it up to England, Britain. So what happens next? Well, in banking, we worked on a system called fraction banking. As I've just said, they only have to have 10% of the plunder, what they've got on the screens, what they give to customers, and one thing or another, what's in your bank. They only have to have 10% of that. So it's quite easy to see that the financial system is a crock of put your own wording on that one. It's just built on, I don't know what was that on the Fazaji. It's all made up. It's not real. It's not real. Money is not real. Now, what they do with all this inflated money, they buy the world's produce, the gold, the real values of the world, the gold, the houses, the land, the real value of the earth. So the banks are just making all this, just making the money up on the screen. Right, we've got $1 million. Bang it all out. We'll lend it to people at interest again. And don't forget, when a bank lends each other, the banks get this 90%. Then they give it to another bank, and they have like the same situation. The fraction banking. One bank passes to another bank, and passes to another bank, then passes to another bank, and each time 90% goes on the money. Can you imagine how many banks this money goes through, and how many man-boggling numbers get added on? And at the end of it, no, if we all go to the bank and say, right, we want our money, draw our money out of the bank, they'll say, I'm sorry, Mr. Donahue, we don't have enough money. Now, this is fucking real risky banking. We need to go back to a sound banking system. But this system ingrained in all these countries, 200 plus countries around the world. Now, to get this back to normal, we have to have a crash. We have to have a great reset. Just think about it. A great reset. And and the word great is just an irony. It's put there so you think it's good, but it isn't great. Because they're going to take everything off everybody. You don't own it anymore. That's what they're hoping to do. Now, with the financial system, they're going to implicate a digital money. Now, we've got bitcoins, haven't we? Slow, expensive to send a payment. It's anything between £10 and £40 to send a payment of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has its advantages. It's a great store of value, and it's only going to go one way, up to the stratosphere. come back to that one. It's going to go up to the stratosphere. Probably, I think it's going to hit $1 billion. I think it's going to hit £1 million eventually. Probably, I'd say less than 5 years. I think once they hit the new financial system, it's called the quantum financial system, QFS. Now, other countries are calling it something a little bit different. They're all calling it different, but it's the same system. And basically, they're going to use a cryptocurrency called XRP to send the world's payments. Now, I don't know who might have a few of them knocking about. I've got a few of them knocking about, put it that way. We're sitting pretty. Now, when this happens, this financial crash in the stock market, the governments will say, oh, we've got a solution how to fix it. And they'll come up with, you guessed it, XRP, instant payments. Now, what you've got to remember with payments now, when you make a payment with your debit card, no matter where you make it, my bank, if you make a payment to me, 20 quid, whatever, your bank will send my bank an IOU. The IOU, they'll put it into the thing and they'll debit one account and add it to my account, right? On this computer screen. But behind the scenes, they're sending an IOU to my bank. Then once every 5 days, they will settle up with each other. Right, well, you owe this for that and you owe that for that. And they'll have Nostra accounts in different banks around the world. So if I want to make a payment in Espanol, they would get either intermediate banks to do it, meaning if they didn't have an account with, let's say Santander, I want to go from NatWest to Santander, and they didn't have a Nostra account, and a Nostra account is the banks have accounts in different countries with different currencies in it, and when they need it, they use it. But again, that can take anything up from 5 days to 2 weeks if they don't have a correspondent relationship with each other's banks. It's slow. It's expensive. I think at least 9% of transactions are fraudulent. So 9%, is fucking, pardon my French, a lot of money. So what they do, or what they're gonna do, is they're gonna implicate a financial system that doesn't do that. That we can have an instant settlement. Now, XRP can settle 20,000 transactions, minimum 20,000 transactions in a second, right? And it can be scaled up massively. They can be scaled up to around 60,000 a second. Now, Bitcoin, woefully slow. It takes 3 hours, 4 hours maybe, depending on the network at the time. And it can do something like 6 transactions a second. There's other Ethereum's a little bit quicker. I forget the numbers of Ethereum, but they're all proof of work. Bitcoin and Ethereum, proof of work. That means it takes loads of computers semi-entirely linked together to do transactions, and it's very bad for the environment. Very, very bad for the environment. I mean, Bitcoin's mined, and this takes loads of computers linked together and high energy costs, and that's how Bitcoin's made. Now, there's 21 million Bitcoins only in the world. So this is why we're seeing a real high price of it. But there's 100 billion XRP. Half of which are in escrow, the other half's in the markets, the secondary markets and the banks. And the banks have only late last year, maybe mid last year, have been given the authority to hold cryptos in their vaults, like dollars, like pounds, like euro, like. Now this was a big deal. XRP has been taken off the secondary market. It means you can't buy it on the stock market. You can't buy it on the exchanges and things like that. Or they're cutting them all out. Lots of them have gone already. Now, this is so normal people don't jump on the bandwagon and get filthy rich. But obviously, I bought mine way before this, and I'm sitting pretty. Now, what I would say to people is like, well, XRP had a lawsuit in the US from the SEC. Now, these are the governing body of the cryptos, SEC. Now, they've been trading for 8 years before they start to sue them, because they've realised we're going to lose control of the financial market because of this excellent technology. And this excellent technology, nothing can compare to it. There's nothing close to it apart from Stellar, let's say, but it's similar technology. Now, Ripple, XRP, has been linked with all these banks, these financial things. They've done all the testing. They've been testing it since 2018 in the UK. They're ready to go live. The banks have got their XRP, right? So there's about all payments around the world now run on something called the SWIFT system. And anybody, people might know this, I don't know, if not many people know, but the SWIFT system is slow, 9% of it goes missing, you know, it's an absolute arcade. It's probably 1970s or 80s technology systems. They've been upgraded since then numerous times, but the base technology was 1970s, before internet. Now, all the other markets around the world have gone digital. Just the financial one hasn't. You know, we can send emails, we can send pictures in a split second anywhere in the world. We can send video calls, you know, Zoom, FaceTime. You know, we have so much technology, but it doesn't exist in the banking industry. Now, obviously, the US dominance. Ripple is a US company based in Silicon Valley. Brad Garlic House, which is a funny name, but I love me garlic. I love it even more now, Brad. Come on, Brad. So, for the last, oh God, maybe it's 10 years, they've been signing all these banks up, financial institutions, for these payments. Now, we're at a little crossing the road sort of thing where the banks know it's going to happen. The banks don't want to give up the control. The central banks don't want to give up the control. Remember, 50 billion are in escrow, so they're owned by Ripple in escrow, and they get released $1 billion every month. And them bankers and them, well, before the secondary market shut, people were buying them up. So there we go, and it was keeping the price quite steady. Now, this SEC court case, they were trying to prove it to a court, calling it a security. And the security is like, a cryptocurrency, let's say if a cryptocurrency has a price of £1, someone has got to put that pound in to make it £1 all the time. You understand what I mean? It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. It may fractionally, but it stays around £1. Now, it was never sold as a. There's 200 countries apart from the US are all saying it's a currency and not a security. Now, it's only the US have said that to slow the price down for one reason, so the bankers can keep filling their bags for as long as possible, because the banks have got the cash, they can easily buy it. Now, the world's, I don't know about the world, no, I'll rephrase that. I see this all playing out. I see it all playing out. Now, before it was a theory, now there's just like, they're going on CNN News and talking about it. Before that, it was little, small media companies who were interested in crypto-based companies. It wasn't like the mainstream media. So, since this lawsuit, I think in early January, it's been stopped. So people, the secondary market, really small investors can't buy it no more. Now, what will happen? There'll come a point where that'll open back up after this court case, and they decide it's a currency, which that's what it's going to happen. Trust me, 100% it's going to happen. Even if they say it's a, no, well, it isn't. They're not going to say it's a thing, because there's just no hope for it. There's no basis on it. It's the worst court case I've ever heard of. I've even had the pleasure of reading documents from the court case. Now, in the court case, the judge calls it, well, you still haven't proved. He's saying to the SEC, you still haven't proved, but on any doubt that anyone sold it as a security. So they're trying to affect the price to keep the price low. Monday, boom, 40. When I woke up, it was 20% up. Later on the day, 40% up. Today, 25% up. And it dropped a little bit. So over the last 7 days, it's gone up 55%, according to CoinMarketCap, that is. Thank you very much for the boys over at CoinMarketCap. Now, what will happen? I mean, these gains, I'm telling you now, a small fry. A small fry. Once they start pushing the system, pushing the XRP, making the cross payments for all the banks, once the banks go live, which they've had it since, they've had this facility since 2018, once they go live, that price will hit, because they're using it all, and it's in the system. When you're using XRP, you need to buy, sell it, buy, sell it, buy, sell it. The price will just go rocket, blood clot. Yes, it's going to hit 10,000 minimum. Some are saying 50,000. So what Ripple have done, they've realised 100 billion, XRP ain't going to be enough. So what they've done, they've started something called the Flare Network. The Flare Network is very much the same thing, but what I had to do with my XRP, I had to put it in a particular place on a certain date. And what XRP did, or Ripple did, is they took a screenshot of it and they knew where everybody's money, who had what in the XRP world. Now, this Flare Network is they're gonna give us, so let's say you have 20,000 XRP. They're gonna give us 20,000 Flare tokens for free. Now this gives us twice the well, the Flare token. Now if you look on CoinMarketCap now, they've got an IOU of it on there at the moment, and it's knocking at 180 a share, 180 a Flare token. Now when XRP is I think it's about 80 US cents, sorry, at the moment. So once this Flare token gets released, once we get them sent to us, we get our tokens, we get our XRP, and we put it on the Flare network. We get a large sum of money for doing that, and we also get, I'm told, a daily compounded interest. Now obviously when this price rockets, the numbers are going to hit the millions. The numbers are going to hit the millions, and this interest hasn't been given as the amount we're going to get, of course, yet, but the interest is going to be, you'll never have to spend your own money again. Well, I will never have to spend my own money again. This Flare token will make people millionaires, and in a lot of cases, billionaires. It's spectacle at the moment. We can't see what the price is going to hit in the future, but we know the price is going to go north. It's going to go north. It's going to hit the North Pole. Easy. I mean, we're doing sums based on a calculation of what the banks send each day, and it's the banks send 5 trillion through the SWIFT system payments a day. 5 trillion. So 5 trillion goes onto the XRP and the Flare network. We need a price of XRP to match the amount of money that's going into it. To match the amount of money going into it, we need a £10,000 token XRP minimum. But then we've also got secondary markets like the stock market, other markets I can't think. The housing market will go on there as well. Imagine being able to just go onto your phone, right, and say, I want a mortgage. Want to buy that house there. Right, there's me. I go on the computer. You don't need a solicitor. You don't need any. You just go on and you just buy through crypto instantly. No need for solicitors' fees, estate agents. Boom, bought. Estate agents might still exist. I'm not sure exactly, but you know, I know the solicitors are not needed. They can do it through blockchain. Proof of concept, I think they're calling that, but I'll double check that. But so we're going to get loads of markets just falling into it because the banks can't do it as quick. To send a SWIFT payments is expensive, very expensive, between 5 and 20% of what you're sending across borders. This you can send, I think it's 10,000 payments for less than $1 on the XRP ledger, less than $1 10,000 payments anywhere in the world in 4 seconds. Fast. So the banks, the financial markets, it's a bit of nip and tuck time for them because they want to keep control. And don't forget, Ripple is a private company, privately owned. So the governments want this technology off them. Now, Ripple don't mind giving them it. But there's one thing that'll have to happen, wouldn't, you know, one thing would have to happen. They'd have to be secure that they were going to be taken care of and the price was going to go where they decide it's going to go, where they see the price going. But Ripple's motto, and has been for a long time, was all the money in the world goes on the XRP ledger. So let's say we're in England and we want English pounds, right? I just go into my bank. I have a card, a crypto card, and it just goes into me. I can send it to my bank, my normal bank account, or I could just use my card. So I don't ever have to use the banking system. I'm out of the banking system as we speak now. Now, I could get it in Bitcoin. I could spend my Bitcoin. I can't spend my XRP at the moment because it's been blocked and it's frozen since early January. Since this SEC lawsuit. This lawsuit's going to get dealt with in a couple of days. That's why the price is going parabolic. Now, once all this happens, I mean, things are going to change, you know, like, I'm going to be exactly the same person, of course. I'm not going out and buying daft things like a Lambo, a Bugatti. Nah. I'm just going to keep my life the same for as long as possible. For obvious reasons, I just, you know, I feel like I've got everything I want already. You know, I'd like to see my children more, of course. Now, you know, that's it. I've got everything. Hoping to have more children. Hoping to, you know, might have a move house maybe. We need a bit more privacy, I think. But, you know, I'm going to still do the same things, say the same things, dance to the same music. I'm not a big drinker. I don't drink a lot. I like to smoke. You know, so my cost of living is very low. I mean, hopefully I might get a little place abroad, I think. Might be the way I go. Might be a big place. I think it'll probably be quite considerable, put it that way. Quite considerable. But at the same time, I don't want to, you know, I'm not going to go out and buy Gucci, Prada and all this shit. You know, I'm going to shop in the same shops I've always shopped in and spend the clothes that I've always wore. And, you know, I'm not going to just start changing and being, you know, new money dickhead. Pardon the French. Now, I'm going to keep my feet on the ground. You know, I hope to see some more of my family a little bit more, and one thing and another. And but hey ho. Everybody knows where I live. You know, I don't intend to lord things over my friends and family. You know, I've got this and you've got this. Doesn't matter. Whatever life you're living, as long as you're happy with inside yourself, then you've won. That's it. You know, be happy within inside yourself. And once you've got that happiness within yourself, nothing else seems to matter to me. I'm interested in the financial markets. I've done my research on things, and you know, I'm sure on a few things. Now, it ain't going to make no difference. You know, if it's not XRP, it'll be something else. If it ain't Bitcoin or what, it's going to be something else, and I'll be on it. And I'll be on that rocket ship to the moon. So, I just want to get people thinking differently, because the world's changing. Think differently. Open your mind to things. You know, don't just think, oh, I've got to get up and go to work Monday morning. Pack fucking work in. You know, start thinking about yous. Thinking about yourselves. Think about yourselves. Think about your family. They're the important bits. People are the important one. And it's took me a long time to realise that people are more important than anything else. You know, I'm on that treadmill of work and trying to make you millions, trying to get on in life, trying to, trying to get on. They're not really sitting back and thinking, well, why am I doing this? What's the end goal? Pay taxes. What's the end goal to it all? What is the end goal? When do I get happiness? You know, then you start thinking, I'm going to be happy within. I'm going to just find my happiness within myself, and meditation is a key to me. I haven't meditated this morning because I've been watching the markets too much, but you know, I intend to meditate this morning and be I had a little bit of a sleep in this morning. So hopefully go and catch a bit of sun if it's out and about and the wind's not too strong. One love to you all, people, and I know this is a long one, but it's a lot to take in, this financial one. I'm going to probably listen to this and go over a few things again I haven't been quite clear on, but there's always something I miss. Anyway, there's so much to learn about it, so please do your research on these markets and what's happening out there, and you know, just look out for the big crash though. One love, people. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe, like the videos, whatever, comments and things. I'd like to engage with people. Thank you. Bye. Peace, love. XRP to the moon.